I'm feeling blue, but I won't if you subscribe. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new viewers or subscribers, I thank you so much for tuning in. For my OG ONL fam, I thank you yet again for tuning in to listen to me talk about another topic. I wanted to answer your question about international students coming into Canada. So someone had actually posed this question on, I believe it was YouTube. I don't remember where I read it, and I should tag the person, and I will. So I will post the comment over here very shortly. So thank you, viewer. Thank you, ONL fam member, for the question. But the question is, what should a student do, or like how should a student prepare or be prepared for when they're coming into Canada as an international student? So what are the things you should know? Okay, so I have never been an international student in Canada, but I can tell you some things that you should expect in Canada, because Canada is Canada. So let's start you off with like the basic thing. For example, it is currently May thingamajigger. It's like mid-May, and yet it is still cold outside. I don't know if you guys can hear like the wind blowing or whatever, but one thing you have to be prepared for in Canada is obviously the cold. No matter what your style is, no matter how you like define yourself or you dress, make sure you bring a warm coat. But I think I said this in my other video when I talked about Canada also, is that if you are an international student and you're coming from a more sort of like beautiful, warm, islandy weather, make sure you do not buy your coat in that country. Wait until you come to Canada and then buy a really good quality coat that will keep you nice and warm. Ideally buy like a parka. So like a parka is like the jacket that runs all the way to your knees or lower. Like don't buy just a jacket that comes to your waist, because otherwise when you take the bus or you walk outside, your legs are going to be freezing cold. Number two, if you're coming around September or even in the summer semester, I think it's a really good time to come. But if you're coming from a different country culturally, I think that the big thing that I noticed that was happening with a lot of international students when I was in university, and again, like there's so much that has changed since I was in uni, but the thing I can tell you honestly from the heart is that there is a lot of peer pressure to kind of like become a part of, you know, like that cool group of people that drink or want to go clubbing or want to smoke, you know, they want to do recreational drugs or whatever. And I really think it's important that you stick to your guns when you come to Canada. Like I was a very shy student. I always like was a very quiet, introverted person. I mean, I know I don't seem like that now, but I was very shy. I was incredibly like nerdy. I was always about like kind of like excelling on an academic level. So I never really went out in first year, and I got made fun of it a lot because I lived on campus. Like I didn't go out with the other girls. I didn't want to like dress up and be like, oh my god, Becky, you look so great. We're gonna have such a good time. I just never got into that group of people. And then, you know, everyone would be like, oh my god, you're like such a mom, like you never come out with us anywhere, you're such a buzzkill, whatever. And like I actually didn't even start really drinking until I was about 21 years old, and I became kind of like the mom of the residence building that I lived in, and everyone would like leave me their keys when they would go out and drink and stuff. And I found it that Friday, Saturday night was the quietest night to study because no one was there. It was the best time where I could like really put my head into my books and work hard. And like I honestly really do suggest that you put your focus in whatever your goal is. Write your goal down as a student. Write it down in front of your desk. Put it as your wallpaper on your phone or whatever, and look at it every single day and like, you know, visualize it. Try and materialize whatever your goal is into reality, and don't get caught up in sort of what might seem like the cultural thing to do or trying to fit in or whatever. So if you're coming from an international country and you feel like you're not going to make friends because you're not doing what everyone else is doing. I'm not saying that Canadians do it. I think it's just like that liberating thing that you leave high school, so you want to like do cool things and like you want to like be rebellious or whatever. Don't get too caught up in that. Keep your eyes on the prize and really focus. I'm not saying don't have fun, but have fun in the way you would want to have fun. Even if your idea of having fun is like going bowling with your friends, or like going and checking out a local band, or going to a nice coffee shop, there are other people like that on the campus and in your university who want to do those things with you. But be patient because it takes time to find friends. The next thing is like, actually, speaking of friends, is that a lot of international students I find feel very lonely when they come to study. Like even when I went to Wales for my master's, and like even when I initially moved to Australia, you feel like you're never going to make friends. You feel like you're never going to meet people who think the way you do, who will be there for you and help you out, and it feels so impossible that you'll meet someone that you can talk to and you feel lonely. But I guarantee you, you will make friends. You will find people who think the same way you do, and it will be okay. Now, in terms of cost, the best thing you can do is get a job on campus. The good thing is, since I was in university, the Canadian government has now changed the law so you can actually work off campus also. Get a job. Honestly, get a job. Even if you only work 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 15 hours a week is the maximum, or I think it's 20. That's right, it's 40 hours every 2 weeks. Make sure you get a job. It'll help you network with more people. It'll put a little bit of spending money in your pocket. University can be so expensive because like you're doing assignments all night long. You want to like sit with your friends and get things done, and like before you know it, everybody's ordering pizza, or everyone's ordering Coke, or like Coca-Cola or whatever, coffee, and the cost really adds up. So being a student can be really hard, but you have to learn to live on a budget. How much money you should spend is really on you. I mean, I would really try and budget my spending if I were you, so that you are not spending more than you have, because you don't want to put yourself in more debt as it is. If you're an international student, the chances are your parents might be paying for you, and they might be paying for you to live there and eat there and stuff like that. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that our parents do for us. Like, you know, like when you have to buy someone like a sweater or like a Christmas present, you don't forget about it. You're like, oh my god, I spent $50 on buying someone something. So like, think about how incredibly great it is that your parents are willing to spend thousands of dollars for you to study in a country that is outside your home country. So like, you know, I think it's important that you take some responsibility, you get some job, and you work, because I would say your books are probably the most expensive thing after your tuition. Like one book can be upwards of $100. The best thing you can do is buy them used. Like use websites like Kijiji, use the university website, like they have like little chat groups, put posters up, and there's always flyers around campus where people are selling their books. So you can save some money there, but books are very expensive. And then after that, you've got your cell phone bill, you've got your food and all that sort of stuff. So I would probably say set aside at least $100 a week realistically to be able to afford everything. If you're not living on campus, then you've got to pay for your bus pass or your metro pass or your train ticket or Uber if you're fancy. I don't know, right? So these sort of things really add up. Other than that, what else can I tell you guys? If you're coming from a country that is racially more diverse, like you're not Caucasian, you're brown or black or Chinese or Russian or Polish or whatever, and you're studying in a smaller town, be prepared for people to ask you really silly questions. Like, I remember when I was going to the States when I was in university, I got a scholarship, and I went to Harvard for a semester, like in the summer, and I did like this very short course. It was a political, like, human rights course. And I got asked questions like if Canadians wear snowshoes when they like go to school or work, or if we skate everywhere because everything is ice, like do we have igloos like in areas. And I was like, what? where do people get this stuff? So wherever you're coming from, like, you might find people ask you really silly questions about your country, some of which might not make any sense, but don't take it to heart. Don't be offended by things like that. You have to learn to take things like that lightly, and you have to play with it a little bit. You just joke around. Like, I remember for a good week I convinced everyone I lived in an igloo, and I wore like a coat that was made out of like a polar bear or something. Like, it was really stupid. I don't remember what I said, honestly, but I don't think I would ever talk about killing a polar bear. But you know, it was really silly, and like, you just kind of like have to laugh it off, and you have to be like, no, there are not polar bears walking down the street slowing down the traffic, you guys. We're literally right there above your country. It's not that different. So just don't take things too seriously. If you encounter any kind of racial discrimination or sexism, or you feel uncomfortable at any point, the best thing and the most important thing you need to do is speak up. If you feel like there's something wrong that's happening against you, if you feel like at work they're not treating you properly, if you feel like you're being profiled against on any level, speak to somebody. Speak to the department that you're studying with, speak to your school security, speak to your job manager, whoever it is. Make sure you never feel like you're being attacked. Make sure you never feel like you're being singled out. So it's really important that you speak up when you feel like something is wrong. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I want to say. I know you guys are going to have a million follow-up questions, and I love that, and I will try and answer those again in another video. But I really wanted to have a talk with you guys for those of you who are coming to Canada. I have so much love and respect for this country. It has always been my home. It's my comfort. I honestly, you know, I know there's bad things that happen everywhere, but I really can't say anything, you know, too bad about this country. I love it in all its, you know, glory, and its like shitty points and its good points. It's like your family, right? You have a like that love-hate relationship. This is my home, and I really love it, and I'd love to help you guys out. Please leave your questions down below. Do not forget to click on the little bell doohickey so you get notifications every time I post a video. Share this video with anyone who could use it. Please remember, there's enough room for all of us to succeed and live the life we want. We don't have to push each other down. We have to lift each other up. And I want to help you come a little bit closer to the life you want to live and where you want to live it. Until next time, think strong always, and I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye!